Imagine this. The drive-through lanes that once buzzed with endless traffic now sit eerily quiet. Neon signs that illuminated American highways for decades are flickering out one by one. The golden arches, the colonel's smile, the crown that promised you could have it your way, all dimming as a harsh economic reality crashes down like a tidal wave across the nation. What you're witnessing isn't just another business downturn. It's the systematic collapse of an entire industry that defined American culture for over half a century. The numbers tell a story that should terrify every investor, every employee, and frankly, every American who's ever grabbed a quick bite on their lunch break. We're talking about an industry worth over $400 billion, employing millions of people, suddenly gasping for air in an economy that squeezed the life out of disposable income. The middle class that built these empires bite by bite, dollar by dollar, has been priced out of their own comfort food. But here's what makes this crisis different from anything we've seen before. This isn't about one chain making bad decisions or a single company's mismanagement. This is about the fundamental economics of survival in modern America breaking down so completely that even the cheapest meal options have become luxuries. When a family of 4 can't afford McDonald's without thinking twice, you know something catastrophic is happening to the fabric of our society. Today, we're diving deep into the 10 fast food giants teetering on the edge of complete disaster. Some of these names will shock you. Others might make you realize just how dramatically the landscape has shifted beneath our feet. From the collapse of casual dining institutions to the implosion of supposed recession-proof brands, what you're about to discover will change how you see the American economy forever. Let's start with number 10, and trust me, by the time we reach number 1, you'll understand why this isn't just about restaurants closing. It's about the death of affordable America itself. TGI Fridays, the chain that literally invented the concept of casual dining as we know it, is hemorrhaging locations at a pace that would have been unthinkable just 5 years ago. Over 180 stores have vanished since the beginning of this year, taking nearly 7,000 jobs with them. These weren't struggling locations in forgotten towns. We're talking about prime real estate spots that once packed customers in every Friday night, now sitting dark with for lease signs swaying in empty parking lots. The mathematics of their collapse tell the real story. Sales have cratered by more than 20% compared to just a few years ago, while the cost of simply keeping the lights on has exploded beyond recognition. A burger that families could afford for under $10 now demands $15.50 or more. That's not just inflation. That's economic strangulation disguised as menu pricing. When your core customer base is living paycheck to paycheck, and suddenly your affordable celebration meal costs as much as a grocery run, you're not just losing customers, you're watching an entire social ritual disappear. Moving to number 9, we encounter the downfall of Hooters, a brand that once commanded over $1 billion in revenue and represented a very specific slice of American dining culture. The orange shorts and neon signs couldn't mask the brutal reality that hit in the middle of this year. Chapter 11. Bankruptcy, 150. Locations shuttered, 6,000 employees suddenly jobless. This is what happens when your target demographic can no longer afford $16 wings and $9 beer pitchers while juggling rent increases and credit card debt that's reached unprecedented levels. The cultural shift runs deeper than economics here. The party atmosphere that once drew crowds now feels completely disconnected from a nation where survival anxiety has replaced leisure spending. When search interest for your brand drops by nearly 60% nationwide, you're not just losing market share, you're becoming irrelevant to a generation that views your entire concept as a relic from a more prosperous time. Number 8 brings us to Taco Bell, the late-night empire that seemed untouchable just a few years ago. 400 locations closed, foot traffic down 14% in major cities, and the psychological barrier of cheap eating completely shattered. The crunch wrap that college students could afford for $3.50 now demands $6.30 or more. In an economy where 2/3 of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, that difference represents the line between eating and going hungry. The overnight shift workers, the college students, the families looking for a quick dollar meal, they've all been priced out of their own comfort zone. When your legendary late-night window sees sales drop by nearly 20%, you're watching the death of an entire cultural moment. The brand that built its empire on being the last affordable escape is now another reminder that escape itself has become a luxury item. At number 7, we find Sweet Green, the darling of the healthy eating movement that promised food with integrity. The collapse here tells a different but equally devastating story. Same-store sales plummeting, over 40 locations closed, stock prices that have evaporated from $52 to under $10. This is what happens when your $15 salad bowls become symbols of economic inequality rather than healthy living. The cruel irony is unmistakable. In a nation where 42 million people depend on food assistance programs, charging $17 for lettuce and vegetables feels like a moral failure disguised as premium dining. The millennials and Gen Z professionals who once viewed these meals as investments in their health and success are now trading down to whatever they can afford, or simply skipping meals altogether. Number 6 showcases the cracking of Chipotle, the fast casual pioneer that was supposed to be recession-proof. For the first time in a decade, same-store sales are declining, traffic is down 12%, and 75 locations have quietly disappeared. The burrito bowl that once symbolized affordable healthy eating now crosses $12, pushing family dinners into the $64 range for a family of 4. What's collapsing isn't just a business model, it's the entire concept of the upwardly mobile American lifestyle that Chipotle represented. The ethical sourcing, the sustainability messaging, the promise that you could eat better without breaking the bank, all of it feels hollow when the median customer can no longer afford the product. When your core demographic is being crushed between rent inflation and student loan payments, premium integrity becomes an unaffordable luxury. At number 5, we witness the decline of KFC, the Colonel's empire that once represented Southern comfort for working families across the nation. 400 stores closed since January alone, same-store sales down over 5%, and family buckets that have surged past $30. The working-class families who built this brand through generations of Sunday dinners are walking past without stopping, knowing that comfort food has joined the ranks of occasional treats rather than regular meals. The symbolism cuts deep here. When the chain that represented affordable family celebration becomes too expensive for the families it served, you're watching the erosion of cultural traditions that held communities together. The red bucket that once sat on kitchen tables across America now represents what working families can no longer afford to bring home. But the truly shocking revelations are still coming. The giants we haven't discussed yet will demonstrate just how completely the foundation of American consumer culture has crumbled beneath our feet. Number 4 reveals the meltdown of Pizza Hut, America's once dominant pizza empire that shaped family nights for decades. The red roofs that dotted suburban landscapes like beacons of affordable indulgence are disappearing at an alarming rate. Over 500 locations have vanished this year alone, bringing the total footprint down to levels not seen since the early 80s. Same-store sales have crashed by nearly 7%, and franchise bankruptcy filings have tripled in just 2 years. The economics are devastating. That large pizza that families could share for $11 now demands $17.50 or more. Add delivery fees, tips, and taxes, and you're looking at $30 for a single meal. For households already drowning in record-high rent and credit card balances exceeding $1 trillion nationwide, pizza night has transformed from a weekly tradition into a monthly luxury they can barely justify. Behind the scenes, franchise owners are bleeding cash faster than they can count it. Delivery app commissions devour nearly 30% of every order, while cheese prices have exploded by 40%. The outdated dining infrastructure that once defined the brand now represents millions in maintenance costs that struggling operators simply cannot afford. Those iconic red roof buildings now sit empty, monuments to an era when families could afford to eat together without calculating the financial impact. Moving to number 3, we encounter the shocking downfall of Burger King, the chain that promised you could have it your way. 700 restaurants closed, nearly 10,000 jobs eliminated, and sales down over 8%. The brand that once stood proudly as McDonald's primary rival now risks falling completely out of the top 5 fast food chains in America. The Whopper combo that defined affordable rebellion for generations now averages $12.60, up from $8 just 4 years ago. The franchise system is collapsing under crushing debt that exceeds $11 billion. Store margins have plummeted to barely 5%. Half of what operators need just to break even. The costly Flame remodeling program, a $400 million attempt to modernize aging stores, backfired spectacularly. driving smaller franchises deeper into debt while doing nothing to fix the fundamental problem of customers who simply cannot afford to eat there anymore. What makes this collapse particularly painful is the cultural loss it represents. Burger King wasn't just another fast food chain. It was the symbol of youthful rebellion, the bold alternative that dared to challenge the establishment. In 2025, those shuttered drive-thrus across once busy highways tell a different story entirely. They represent a nation where even rebellion has been priced out of reach. Number 2 brings us to the decline of Wendy's, the honest alternative that built its reputation on fresh beef and real value. 450 stores closed, same-store sales falling by 7%, the steepest decline in company history. Corporate filings reveal franchise bankruptcies rising by 38%, with major regional operators teetering on the edge of complete liquidation. The signature 4-for-4 deal, once the symbol of working-class relief in tough times, quietly disappeared and was replaced with the biggie bag now priced at $7 or more. That's not value anymore. That's a cruel reminder that in today's America, even the cheapest options have joined the ranks of calculated purchases. The average meal now costs nearly $13, up 54% in just 6 years. Franchise owners are sounding desperate alarms as labor costs surge 21%, beef prices climb 35%, and electric bills jump 30% compared to just 2 years ago. With margins shrinking to single digits, over 60 franchises have completely halted new investments, essentially admitting defeat in a market that no longer rewards their business model. Cultural damage runs even deeper. Younger demographics who once connected with the brand's social media personality have drifted toward cheaper street food and delivery apps. Meanwhile, longtime customers express genuine anger that menu prices are rising faster than their wages. The company's disastrous experiment with AI-driven dynamic pricing, where costs fluctuated based on time of day and neighborhood demographics, sparked nationwide outrage as customers discovered they were literally being charged different prices based on algorithms designed to extract maximum profit. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepares you for the shocking reality of number 1. The Golden Arches themselves, the most recognizable symbol in global commerce, are dimming across the American landscape in ways that should terrify anyone who understands what this truly means for our economy and our culture. McDonald's, the empire that fed the world and defined American convenience for generations, is faltering in its own homeland. Same-store sales dropped 3.6% in the first quarter, followed by another 3% decline in the second quarter, marking the worst domestic performance since the devastating recession of 2008. Over 800 locations are scheduled for closure by the end of this year, concentrated primarily in low-income and rural areas where sales have completely collapsed by 15% or more. The Big Mac meal, once America's symbol of cheap convenience and democratic dining, now averages $13.60 nationwide, up from $6.40 just 6 years ago. That's a staggering 113% increase that has shattered the psychological barrier of affordability that made McDonald's a cultural institution. The dollar menu, the cornerstone of the brand's identity and the last refuge for budget-conscious Americans, has been completely eliminated. Today, finding anything under $3 requires a microscope and a prayer. Customer anger is palpable and growing. Foot traffic has plummeted 14% while the brand's decades-long reputation for affordability lies in ruins. For generations, McDonald's thrived on being every man's meal, the great equalizer where a construction worker and a CEO could eat the same burger. In 2025, every man can no longer afford it, and the democratic promise of the Golden Arches has become another casualty of economic inequality. The financial pressure crushing franchises tells the complete story. Ground beef prices up 32%, packaging costs climbing 27%, and crew wages no exceeding $17 per hour in key states. Profit margins have crashed from 18% to barely 10%, forcing operators to choose between staying afloat and maintaining quality service. Even McDonald's executives are scrambling desperately to find solutions. Their highly publicized value meal relaunch failed completely to reverse declining traffic. Automation upgrades and digital drive-thrus, meant to cut labor costs and improve efficiency, have backfired spectacularly, alienating customers with inconsistent service and technical breakdowns that leave people stranded in drive-thru lines for 20 minutes or more. The cultural implications of McDonald's decline extend far beyond corporate earnings reports. This was never just a restaurant. It was a cultural anchor woven into the fabric of American childhood experience. Birthday parties, road trips, lunch breaks, first jobs, late-night cravings after school events, all once tied to the warm glow of those golden arches. Now that glow feels hollow, a reminder of promises broken and dreams deferred. When McDonald's becomes unaffordable, it signals something fundamental has shattered in America's social contract. The empire that once fed the world is now feeding on its own decline, and what that means for the millions of families who built their routines around affordable convenience is a question that extends far beyond the restaurant industry itself. The ripple effects of this fast food apocalypse extend far beyond empty parking lots and darkened drive-thrus. We're witnessing the systematic destruction of an economic ecosystem that employed over 4 million Americans directly, with millions more depending on the supply chains, delivery networks, and supporting industries that kept this machine running. When these giants fall, they don't fall alone. They take entire communities down with them. Consider the mathematics of devastation spreading across suburban America. Each closed restaurant represents an average of 35 lost jobs, from crew members to managers to regional supervisors. But the damage multiplies exponentially when you factor in the bread suppliers, the cleaning companies, the uniform manufacturers, the equipment maintenance crews, and the countless small businesses that existed solely to serve the fast food industry. We're looking at a domino effect that could eliminate over 200,000 jobs by the end of next year. The geographic pattern of closures reveals something even more disturbing about the new American economy. These chains aren't randomly shutting down locations. They're systematically abandoning the heartland, the small towns, the working-class neighborhoods that once formed the backbone of their customer base. Drive through rural Kentucky, Ohio, or West Virginia today, and you'll see the skeletal remains of what used to be thriving food destinations, now replaced by empty lots and faded signs that nobody bothers to remove. This geographic retreat represents more than corporate strategy. It's economic segregation in real time. The chains that remain open are increasingly concentrated in affluent suburbs and urban centers, where higher incomes can still support inflated menu prices. Meanwhile, vast stretches of America are becoming food deserts, where the only dining options are gas station hot dogs and convenience store sandwiches wrapped in plastic. But perhaps the most chilling aspect of this collapse is how quietly it's happening. There are no dramatic headlines announcing the death of affordable dining. No emergency congressional hearings examining why working families can no longer afford what their parents considered basic necessities. Instead, we're watching a slow strangulation disguised as market forces, where each price increase is explained away as temporary adjustment, and each closure is blamed on local conditions. The fast food apocalypse isn't just reshaping American dining, it's rewriting the rules of survival itself. What you've witnessed today is the systematic dismantling of affordable comfort, the death of democratic dining, and the birth of a new America where even basic sustenance requires financial privilege. These 10 giants didn't just fail, they revealed the harsh mathematics of a society that has priced its own people out of existence. The question isn't whether this collapse will continue, it's what comes next.